It is 1:30 in the afternoon on the 20th of September, 2020, and we are in the backyard of Dick and Jody Fyfe, recording here today. My name is Jay Holt. Would you please introduce yourself?
A man who needs no introduction. Dick Fyfe. I never considered myself any kind of a painter, except that I liked doing painting and enjoyed it as a good hobby.
Would you please introduce yourself?
My name's Lindsey Fyfe, and I live in Hartford, Connecticut. I grew up in Glastonbury, Connecticut, and I am an artist.
When I was a kid, I used to draw pictures, and all the other kids liked my pictures. They would come to me and, offer me money to draw the pictures for them. So I drew a lot of pictures for the kids in class. And then, because I was so busy, I failed art. And after that, I didn't do any pictures for a long, long time. I forgot all about it until I finally was retiring. I said, maybe I'll paint some pictures. And I was so happy when Lindsey started taking up. When she was just little, she did amazing, good artwork. And I was so happy to see that. And I could do anything I could to encourage her.
Yeah, I always felt very encouraged at home. So that encouragement was, I think, instrumental.
Dick, can you lay out for me the process of making a painting and bringing it to life?
Well, starting with the idea of what I'm going to paint. And I'll sketch in some pictures, some scenes. Take some of the major colors, and then I start trying to pull them together. I work it down, sort of. Oh, that's too big, and cut that off. Or this isn't big enough. Or maybe I gotta move this one over a little bit.
Kind of like my dad's process, I like to make a lot of adjustments and changes, and I think that's really the act of painting itself.
What is something that you love about Lindsey's work?
Her expression, her freedom to reach out and do something that she feels.
I think something I appreciate about my father's paintings, I really appreciate that there's usually a clear purpose behind when he starts to make a painting. And that purpose usually involves another person, like where the painting is going to end up. And he'll paint subject matters that he knows another person's going to appreciate in a very deep way.
Dick, can you tell me how the act of painting here in your backyard changes the way or impacts the way you relate to this space?
Well, at some point in my life, when I leave here, I'll think back and it will mean something to me.
What does it make you feel when you are in the act of painting?
I kind of get into the zone. I'll start painting in the morning and disregard everything around me. And if I don't see anything, I just seem to zone in on it.
Could you tell me, Lindsey, a rundown of the process for you?
Kind of like my dad's process, I like to make a lot of adjustments and changes as I go through a painting, and I think that's really the act of painting itself.
How has this pandemic, how has that impacted your painting, whether it's the doing it of it, the desire to do it?
It has impacted me to some extent. Because I'm 90 years old, and I probably don't have a lot of years left. Oh, I hope I do. I always think, well, someday when I'm gone, maybe my grandkids will say, Oh, my grandfather painted that picture. That's about all. Or they might, friends might look at it and say, oh yeah, I remember. Dick painted that picture for me.
I think all this time at home, more time to just sort of stop and think, has only fortified my commitment to being an artist. And I'm a person who loves to travel and see new things. And a lot of time that newness has been the impetus for a lot of my larger painting projects. So a lot of my source material for my paintings traditionally has been a new experience or a new thing that I've seen. So all of a sudden that kind of changed in March when the idea of traveling became impossible in a way. So I sort of shifted my mindset and started approaching my own home state and my own surroundings as places for inspiration. And I think it was an important reminder for me that inspiration is kind of half of it. A lot of painting is actually just sitting down and doing it. And I had no choice over the last 6 months but to kind of reroute my thinking about what I can make paintings about and what can spark imagination and what can be a good reference or source material. And I think the joy and the calm and the challenge that can come from making even a simple painting in the backyard is something that I would think anybody could tap into, given the right circumstances.
And at the, finally, are there any questions or that either of you might have for each other, or things that you might want to say to the other one that have that come to mind at this moment?
Well, I'm very pleased, and Jody too. In fact, the whole family is very pleased that Lindsey has been so successful in her pursuit of art and music, and we enjoy her success.
I think it's very inspiring to me that my dad is still an artist. He's somebody that practices art and also music and has never needed to stop. And, my dad's 90 years old and I'm in my 30s, and it's motivating to me that something I like to do now is it can be a lifelong pursuit. And I know that because I see my father painting all the time and still finding joy in it and still able to bring joy to other people through his practice. So it's motivating to me to see my dad still making art and not feeling like anything needed to stop him.
Thank you both so much for welcoming me into this space. It's been an absolute delight and pleasure speaking with both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
speaking
Jay.
with you too.
That was great. I think you covered everything anybody could think of. And thanks again.